Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. So Josh Kelly returns in front of his Sunderland supporters. He was at the Beacon of Light. What's that, stadium and arena? I've never been there, but he knocks out Placido Ramirez in 3 rounds. Easy work for Kelly, although he didn't really do a lot for the first 2.5 rounds. Ramirez, it should be mentioned, this was his 7th fight of 2023. So activity is definitely the name of the game for Mr. Placido Ramirez. His last fight was on the 18th of November, so that's less than a month ago. And he came in as a late replacement. Now, the only thing is with Mr. Ramirez is that he's fought down at 140. And in fact, I think earlier on in his career, he was a lightweight or a super featherweight or something like that. He didn't look, fat at 154, which is Kelly's division. But even this year, in those 7 fights, a couple of them were, super lightweight, welterweight fights. So he's definitely fighting out of his division. And for the first 2 rounds, Kelly, very, very sharp. Not the most entertaining fighter to watch because he will hang back, look to counter, look to thread those sharp punches through the defence. Ramirez came forward with a high guard, didn't really know what to do with Kelly. He knew he couldn't match him for speed. Didn't really get his jab off at all, didn't look for some sort of timing to negate the speed. His feet weren't quick enough. And Kelly was just having his way with him, really. I mean, he was sort of skirting around the ring, doing nothing in particular, taking the odd pot shot when he wanted it. And you thought, well, this is a 12-rounder. We're going to have 12 rounds of this because this will be very, very tedious. But in actual fact, one massive uppercut was all it took to unhinge Ramirez and leave him on the floor. Kelly is an orthodox fighter. He threw the uppercut, split the very high guard of Ramirez, another orthodox fighter, caught him right on the nose, I think it was. Ramirez went down on one knee and stayed there, clearly distressed. The punch to the nose probably made his eyes water, I imagine. Very, very painful if you ever had a punch on the nose, a serious punch. This was a very fast, hard uppercut. And Ramirez actually stayed on the floor after the 10 count. He must have been in a lot of pain. But to be honest, he was completely stylistically and in terms of talent, and he's just out of his depth. And Kelly scored. It was a good 3rd round knockout. The finish was highlight reel. The fight was not memorable at all. But Kelly looked confident. Give him someone who's below his level, and he'll dominate them. I mean, I suppose you could say that about any fighter, but what I mean is he can just do exactly what he wants. It's not even as if Ramirez was going to push him and make the rounds competitive, but even if he was losing most of them, he just didn't know what to do with Kelly. Afterwards, Kelly he mentioned Ben and Eubank. Now he is settled in at 154. Of course, he beat Troy Williamson for the British title. That was last year. That was a good win. He dominated Williamson, who again is another flat-footed, rather slow pressure fighter. But he needs to step up, Kelly. He really does. He's 29 now, so he's in his physical prime. His talents should be honed enough for him to move up. And he's never won. I don't think he's ever won the EBU title. He fought for it against David Avanissian down at welterweight and lost. Got stopped in 6 rounds, and that was a sort of bloody beatdown. He's going to have to fight. I mean, at 154, Tim Tszyu would be an option. I would pick Tim Tszyu to beat Kelly, but if he wants to be a world champion, he'll have to go for those guys. Failing that, go for the EBU title at 154. But he needs to step up from people like Placido Ramirez, who are, a game, decent Colombian fighter, good, decent level, domestic level, but no world beater. So did you see this fight? It wasn't particularly entertaining, but what do you think of Kelly? Where do you think he's going? What do you think of his talent? Do you think it's all hype, or do you think there is some ability there? I'm sort of in the middle here. I think he does have a lot of ability and can look good, but he needs to fight. This was his 2nd fight of 2023 since the Williamson fight, which was a year ago. Maybe be a bit busier, have 3 or 4 fights a year. I think he should go for the EBU 154 title and then move on to the world title. Get another couple of 12 rounders under his belt. His last 2 fights went 12 rounds against Williamson and Gabriel Corzo. So just there's no great hurry. 29 is not old, but you know, it's kind of like either piss or get off the pot now, isn't it? You know, let's see you against some people who are capable of beating you, and let's see you beating them. So let me know what you think about Kelly. What do you think about this performance? Leave your comments below as always. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the like button. That helps us out a great deal. Spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. Take care of yourselves and bye for now.